Hello everyone, this is Dr. Francois Toit, Doctor of Natural Medicine and Naturopathic Doctor. I am so excited to launch the upcoming course that we have just started called Unleash Your Potential, the 7 Pillars of Health and Your Path Towards Peak Performance. In the next 10 or 20 minutes or so, I'll be taking you through the entire course and what you can gain from attending it. But first, to preface our discussion, I wanted to tell you a bit about myself. I was born as a very sick child. I battled extensively with chronic middle ear infections, colic, mucus, a low immune system, no energy. I tried all the medical doctors. I tried the best treatments that were available for me at that stage when I was growing up, but nothing worked. Up until the age of 2 years old, I was batting all the time and I was in such pain that my mom, out of desperation, took me to see a natural medicine doctor. And when he saw me when I was 2 years old, he started addressing things that we never even thought about, like my diet, my environment, why is my immune system so weak, why is my digestive system so reactive. He changed me from formula cow's milk to freshly squeezed carrot juice, started me on natural remedies. And in the course of that year, up until the age when I was 3, I'd nearly recovered from all of my existing health conditions. And I'm grateful to have grown up with natural medicine as my lifestyle, and it's all that I know. And I became passionate to help other people restore their health. I decided to become a naturopathic doctor, which is a 5-year degree. And then I've actually now been in clinical practice for 11 years, worked extensively for patients from all over the world, working for over 2 years in Thailand at a wellness retreat and spa called Kamalaya, where we saw guests from all over the world. And I saw the power of a multidisciplinary approach where many practitioners from many different fields and expertises come together to help to restore patients' health. So I'm very grateful to have seen an expansion of health, invested into people's health so that they can transform their health on all different levels. And I'm going to pull in all of my extensive 11 years of clinical practice and lifelong learning in natural healing into this course as laying the foundations for health, but building towards the secret towards making sure that you actually get the most explosive results, which is the art of flow states or peak performance that's taking the world by storm and changing the business environment as we currently see it. To frame up a discussion, I wanted to start with a thought. I want us all to start with the end in mind. And to build towards that, I want to envision your life 3 years ahead. Why do I choose 3 years? Because most people tend to overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year. But we also greatly underestimate, what we can achieve in 3 years. So picture your life 3 years from now, with no health obstacles, optimally well, physical strength at its maximum, having experiences that you only dreamed about, going to luxury locations, doing extreme sports maybe, it might be for you, or spending time with loved ones, having an overflow of energy and vitality, and doing the things that you love. I craft this vision because this is what I want to instill in every single one of you, your own personal wellness manifesto, your statement that guides your life to becoming the best version of yourself. I am very fortunate to have been on a health journey, and when I came to my next step in my health journey, I wanted to take on the biggest challenge I could think about. So last year I decided to sign up for the half Ironman in Mossel Bay, having never done a road biking race, never competing in swimming professionally, only having a background in running as a transition, especially into trail running. And as I was building into this year, and I've never done a triathlon before, by the way, so never done small triathlons or mini super sprints, or these shorter triathlons, I decided to jump in with a half Ironman directly. To be honest, I didn't know what I got myself into as I was training into this year. And as I aligned with other wellness experts and triathlete coaches, my growth exponentially grew. But I also realized that the biggest thing that was keeping me back from completing this race was my mindset. Having grown up with so many mentors, this has coached me into mindset skills. And I started learning about the skill of manifestation, or sometimes also called the law of attraction. And notably, I heard recently that Novak Djokovic, after winning the tennis Grand Slam, said that growing up as a child when he was 6 or 7 years old, he said that I want to be this type of successful tennis player. And he said he was very fortunate growing up that he could imagine and feel to every single cell of his body what it would be like to be that type of champion. That's a good summary of what it means to use your imagination to manifest the destiny that you want. And then the law of attraction starts to come into play, and circumstances come your way to make that a reality. So having these type of thoughts in my mind, I started imagining what it would be like if I finished the half Ironman successfully. Feeling the sensation running over the finishing line with my arms up in the air. I started practicing it physically in my training sessions. I started thinking about it every single day. And as God is my witness, it turned out exactly that way. I finished the half Ironman in just over 7 hours, overcoming many physical barriers along the way, many mental barriers along the way. And I finished that race better than any race, with more strength and more power in my body than I've ever done in any single race up until that point. So it's really about helping your body and your mind to align with each other on your journey to optimal health. So there's many barriers to people reaching these optimal states of health or well-being. So let's bust a few myths. The first myth is that genetics leads to disease. The truth is that, and this is well recognized by holistic, especially nutritionally focused geneticists, is that your genetics might load the gun, but your environment pulls the trigger. Meaning your genetic expression is actually in your hands because your environment gives signals that turns genetic switches on or genetic switches off. This is also well recognized by South African neurological expert, Dr. Caroline Leaf, who extensively speaks about how we can just by our thinking patterns alone, one exceptionally important element of our environment, what we think and feel, can change our genetic expression like a light switch, switching on your genetic superpowers and possibly and very, very possibly silencing your genetic weaknesses to never express any disease. So realizing that you can transform your genetic expression by your thinking patterns and your environment, which includes all the 7 pillars of health that I will about to delve into. Another common myth is that pain is the problem. Pain is a symptom of a system that is stuck, wanting to return to balance, but is unable to do so by many, many different reasons. We need to find out why do we have the pain, embrace the pain, learn from it, grow from it, and listen to our bodies on a deep intuitive level and find the solutions that is in front of us. Another common myth is that microbes are our enemy. The whole hygiene hypothesis, everything must be clean and sterile. And obviously there's a place for that where they can prevent diseases and overcome certain illnesses. But the microbial world is the world where life comes from. One exceptional example of that is that your health is dependent on how healthy the microbial balance is in your digestive tract. And by taking an antibiotic, potentially can set back your health anywhere from a couple of months to a couple of years because of destroying the good bacteria in digestive tract. Some of them will recover, some will not. This is individual. But we need to respect that when we have a rich microbial environment of good bacteria living alongside in a healthy way, in a symbiotic relationship, even with the different viruses and parasites that we have, these things never flare up and become a problem when there is balance. And the last myth that I need to bust is that you are not your disease, and you are especially not your diagnosis. To use an example, No two people on this planet will have diabetes type 2 for exactly the same reason. So even though it's useful to have a description where you can do research and learn and follow a program by a label, as is diabetes, it doesn't help you to understand the underlying root cause of the condition and why this health problem developed in the first place. Take into account all these complex environmental, mental, emotional, and spiritual factors that can contribute to a disease manifesting in your life. And the power of words is so powerful. As soon as you hear those words, wow, you're a diabetic, it seems to set your destiny, doesn't it? Does it empower you to become the best version of yourself? Or does it help to understand that you don't have diabetes for the same reason as any other person that ever existed in history? And if you can get to understanding yourself, your environment, and your genetic expression, you can actually transform and overcome these diseases and even potentially reverse them. So let me delve into the actual 7 pillars of health that we'll be discussing during this course. In no particular order, the first one is frequent movement. We need to fall in love with movement again. And I don't call this exercise for a particular reason because it's become a bit of a swear word in certain circles. I use the example of children. You don't need to force a kid to run around, jump up and down, climb a tree. They are finding joy in movement in every single day of their lives. So it's about finding a form of movement that you love and enjoy doing, that you're excellent at, and doing it frequently. It can be as simple as walking every day or running, joining other group of people on some social sports. And the second pillar is following a nutrient-rich diet, because you're not hungry for food, you're hungry for nutrition, nutrients, vitamins and minerals. You can follow the most restrictive diet, meaning having one meal a day, but if that meal is packed with superfoods and vitamins and minerals, that will be the most satisfying, fulfilling meal you've ever had, and it can sustain you for 24 hours. So focus on food quality, nutrient richness, organic, locally sourced, growing your own vegetables, following permaculture principles to get the nutritional needs that your body needs to heal itself. The third pillar is sound sleep. And this is a question I often ask my patients. When was the last time you can remember having a dream? I had a discussion recently with a patient that's been struggling tremendously with depression, a high school student. And he can only remember having a dream about 3 years ago. What that means is that his body's not dipping into, even though he might be sleeping enough, 7-8 hours, his body's not dipping into restorative sleep called REM sleep, rapid eye movement. When the eye moves up front and back while you're sleeping, which is the dreaming state. It's when the brain really recovers, sorts information, and heals itself, the deepest and most restorative sleep. In this individual case, I believe the medication is using in terms of antidepressants unfortunately has interfered with deep REM sleep, which is an unintended side effect of these medications that many people need to be aware of and read. And I'm not saying not to use medication, and I'm not saying not to use antidepressants. They can save lives. But it's just walking in with your eyes open. What can happen? What can sabotage your health? Because in your sleeping cycle, rest and recovery, rest and also detox is when your body literally rebuilds itself to be restored and fresh and strong for the next day. So prioritizing that is so essential. The fourth pillar is inner stillness. In our hectic lifestyle, with so many things have become rushed, the Western lifestyle, the hamster wheel of life, the nose to the grindstone living, technology, beeping lights, flashing cars, there's so much happening. We are out of balance and out of sync with rest and restoration. The sleeping cycle, that's oftentimes why sleeping cycles are disrupted. It's a reflection of what your day has been like. If it's been rushed and stressful, no wonder your brain can't switch off at night. And technology, lights, computer screens, cell phone screens, blue light emissions, digital noise, digital frequencies, electromagnetic fields, so many things. We need to find a space where we can restore the mind to a state of relaxation and deep practices that restore the nervous system to be at peace, where we can breathe, we can be in nature, we can eliminate stress sources. Your quiet time, your meditation moment, it must be prioritized. Finding what you enjoy doing in those practices, because it doesn't have to be sitting cross-legged and humming. Can be walking and appreciating the beauty of nature, hearing the sounds of the birds, walking on the beach, feeling the sand underneath your feet, grounding. Which leads me directly into the next pillar I wanted to mention, syncing with nature. Synchronizing your pattern to natural rhythms, being in contact with the earth, grounding, which restores the body electromagnetically. Nature has a restorative effect, a therapeutic effect. We need nature immersion. We need to disconnect from technology and civilized life towards a natural state of being where the natural elements give us a breather, a chance to reset. And it's a powerful way of also resetting your circadian rhythm, getting enough proper sunlight and in the right timing that I'll delve into the course. Very big biohack. And then the next pillar, deep connection. And that means relationships, and not just superficial relationships. The type of friends and relationships that will carry you through thick and thin. Friends that are not just there when it's going good with you or well for you, but friends that are there when things are going wrong, when things go sideways, that stick around when you're in the worst place in your life. Fostering those deep bonds, finding social groups that you love, the activities that they do, and make an effort to strengthen those relationships. And the last, and possibly the most important, as mindset is always the first actual pillar or foundational step towards achieving success in any area of life, your sense of purpose. Why do you want to be healthy? Why is it important for you to have that vision 3 years ahead where you are experiencing things that you only dreamed about, with no physical disabilities, enjoying the company of loved ones, going to far off places, completing a race or a adventure sport that you've been dreaming about your entire life? It happens when you sit down and you imagine what you want to become, creating a compelling vision for your life, writing it down, painting it, or sketching it out. Even if you're good with visual, and you have to stimulate your creative thinking processes this way. For most people, it helps to set a fitness challenge. Might be as simple as saying, I want to walk around the block 8 times without being out of breath. Or it might be signing up for your own Ironman event. Or saying, I've always dreamed about hiking up this local mountain, experiencing the joy of looking out over my surrounding areas from the top of a hill, reaching literally a type of peak state. And this is what is possible for every single one of us when we are balanced in our health with these 7 pillars. And then lastly, I wanted to chat about the final level, the deepest advanced training of the peak performance with the whole Unleash Your Potential course. It has something that almost no other course has when it approaches health. It implements these peak states or flow state principles to optimize it on every single level, but building then to the advanced training to teach you specifically how to harness peak states or flow states all the time. And to help you to get to this point, I want to preface with this thought. People think they get what they want, but actually you get who you are. If you want to change the results you're getting, you need to change. And a state change is one of the most powerful tools to attracting the circumstances that brings about the results that you've always been looking for. I'm a student of Dean Graziosi and Tony Robbins. Especially Tony Robbins speaks so often about how his life has shifted into a new gear as he's been developing state-changing exercises, movements, powerful physical activities and music and thought patterns. It gets you in a state where every moment is a gift and every single day is the best day ever. So to delve into the peak states, I wanted to give you an acronym. It's called STER, S-T-E-R. And I'll delve into that in just a minute. But before I do, think about the moment in your life when you were the happiest. You had the most joy. You were the most proud of the achievement that you'd made. And keep that picture in your mind. I'm going to give you a moment to delve into that a little bit. And as you do, let me describe what STER means, which is an acronym for the experiences associated with peak states. The first acronym of letter of the acronym S stands for selflessness. It means that it's an experience where the outside circumstances don't matter. You're not concerned about yourself or your own needs. It's also called where the ego dissolves and you become one with your experience, one with your environment. You feel connected to everyone and every single thing. The T stands for timelessness. Time dilates. You lose track of time. What might have been hours felt like minutes, and you're completely lost in the bliss of the moment. The E is for effortlessness, which, as its word says, it's an activity that just flows one step to the next, almost in and of itself, magically. You do things that you never thought possible. You get solutions and a body awareness to do activities in such a way, yet you do things you never thought were possible. It becomes so easy the way the brain super functions. Yeah. And the last one in the acronym R is actually for information richness, which means the information that's flowing in is better than you ever expected. The colors are brighter, the smells are better, the sensations that you can feel are exponentially higher, which means that your brain, the left and right brain, and every single part of your neurological system is working together like a supercomputer in a way that it's never ever functioned before, making new connections, getting new insights, making decisions faster and smarter and better. Now, I described a peak state or flow state, and in your own personal moment when you felt the best, the happiest, the most proud of what you've done, if you can associate any one of these 5 elements into that, you have inadvertently delved into a flow state. And by understanding flow states better and your own flow profile, your flow type, which we address and answer for people during our course, you can achieve effortless flow every single moment of the day. Why would you like to be in a peak state or flow state, except for that it feels some of the best experiences you might have? Obviously, people are not in flow all the time. There are times where you need to recharge, relax, be still. Different personality types. It's because when you're in a peak state, and this has been scientifically proven, you have 500% more work efficiency. This has been discovered as we've been doing peak performance assessments in the chief executive business world. So what would it mean for you if you can have an hour that is 500% more productive than another hour? Another amazing insight that's gained from the research is there's a magic number towards achieving a mastery in any given field. And it's about 10,000 hours. If you can commit to any single skill, activity, playing music, a sport, anything you can think of, professional career, if you spend an average of 10,000 hours, you will diligently, you will actually achieve mastery in that given discipline. But if you access the power of flow states consistently, you can cut that number down by 50% to 5,000 hours, which is still a big number. But what would it mean for you if you saved 5,000 hours of your life achieving any measure of excellence in any given activity and becoming a master of that field. What would it mean if you save 5,000 hours of your life? Being able to do the things you love, being there for your loved ones, pursuing skills and hobbies that you could have only dreamed about having the time to do. What would that mean to you? And this is my course. I'm looking forward to also drawing in more expert speakers, as I've done even for my recent Zoom event. So I'm looking forward to seeing you online for this course, and I'm looking forward to unleashing your true potential as we delve through it. Looking forward to seeing you in the program. Have a fantastic day ahead.